50 basis points cut for the Fed yesterday. Firstly, it was a little dump in the market, then a little pump. Now, what is going to happen next? We can see BTC is at resistance. These alts have started absolutely flying, and we're going to have level heads here and a game plan. Today, I've got my full blueprint for you on BTC. We're not going to fall for any traps here. We're going to play this thing strategically. I've got tons of alts for you. AVAX, Sol, Injective, Beam. I've got Tower. We can see that thing is running at the moment. So much to talk about here. I'm coming to you from Singapore. It's Token 2049. Things are pumping. I'm hungover. Let's get right into this. And always hit the like button, hit the bell, hit the subscribe. The like button says, yeah, he's a dedicated man. You know, we are, what are we, 24 hours apart here. The man's sitting in South America, that type of place. And he's cooking. He's cooking the lights. Look at this bullish goggles on there.
Let's smash them.
Let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's enjoy this moment. Okay, let's just enjoy the feeling. These altcoins are pumped. They're ripping. Everybody's feeling good. And the euphoria is out there. Now, Banter Bubbles is giving us a little bit of euphoria. Look at this. That Say chart. Remember that Say entry that I gave you guys? Look at this thing. 23% up. Absolute banger. We got Tower 19%. I'm talking about this one today. Do we have an AI revival with regards to, you know, the whole market's pumping? But what are going to be the leaders? So naturally, PopCat is there, 32%. You can see that one in your screen. Celestia, I don't know. I pulled out that chart. I don't know if we're going to talk about that thing. I can only see shorts. And look at the bottom there, Matic, 4% up. Absolute shitcoin doing what it's doing, nothing. And let's look at where we are now on BTC. So this was us yesterday. This is BTC on the 8 hour. We were tracking some key levels, and we definitely didn't, we weren't short of emotions through all that drama yesterday, the ups, the downs, all these things. And right now, BTC on the 8 hour is sitting in one of my danger zones that I highlighted for you guys yesterday. So if you've had a good run, okay, nothing wrong with a small little TP here or there. This is danger zone number 1, 62,300. This is a big area now that I'm watching closely. Now, any more upside for BTC? I've got my eyes locked on 64K. That's my 200-day moving average. We know we have a history of solid reactions off the 200-day MA. So that's a banger there for me. And then a little bit higher, naturally, we've got our highs at 65K. Look at that. That was a lot of liquidity sitting up in that region. So wouldn't be surprised if we do get some pushes into these types of regions. Now, what do we do on the downside? So number one for the bull, we can remain bullish here. You can see BTC is sitting in a very sharp uptrend, okay? Until we lose that trend, then we can maybe start shifting a little bit bearishly and things like that. But until that occurs, any dips for me here look like buys, look like buy opportunities here for us until proven otherwise. So right now for me, expecting some kind of pullback, okay? Some kind of, even if it's a gentle little pullback here on BTC. But what I'm watching to the downside, if it happens, 61,250, zone number 1. Then we've got a little bit lower down. I've got 60K. Look at this little banger here. We've got trend. We've got horizontals tied in there. And that's super bullish, 236 fib. So downside stuff, let's watch what happens. Okay, I'm not expecting anything more than that to the downside. If anything, we're going to have a little bit of volatility now leading into the US Open in the next couple of hours. Let's see how that plays out. That is what I would watch super closely now for BTC on the 8 hour. Now, before we get into tons of these other things, we're going to cover a couple of things in the news here. And, I've been trying to keep it pretty much chart alpha the last couple of days here in Singapore, but I think let's cover the most important stuff. So the Fed cut interest rates by 50 basis points for the first time in 4 years. Okay, we know that, tick. And now here's a nice little summary for those that watch the drama and watch the show. And with Joe Powell talking yesterday, I was actually out, so I missed a lot of this, but here's a good summary. They believe the economy is strong overall. Okay, that's relatively bullish. They got growing confidence that the strength in the labor market can be maintained. That's a big one. Okay, if there's a problem in the labor market, that is where shit can start happening here for us. And consumer spending has remained resilient, and inflation has eased but remains above the 2% target. Okay, the key statement here at the bottom, why is a 50 basis point rate cut needed if the economy is so strong? So, I mean, this is the thing that's up for debate. And we've spent a lot of time trying to analyze what the S&P will do depending on a 50 basis point or a 25 basis point. But, as it turns out, nobody actually knows. Nobody can predict this thing accurately. And we saw yesterday an interesting tweet. 90% of the economists got it wrong. Okay, and we see this time and time again with their predictions. So very interesting stuff happening here. But the best thing we can do is naturally watch the S&P. Now, this hasn't opened yet today. So, we've had our close yesterday, and it remains to be seen what happens next with the US. I've got my eyes locked on this S&P, on this US Open later on today. And yesterday, you can see we had a little fake out there to the upside. They probably took out a couple of shorts, and they have now reversed it. But massive opening session coming today. This is going to tell us exactly what is going to be happening. So pretty excited for the next couple of hours. And just a reminder from 𝗣𝗥𝗑 Capital, the last two times the Fed first cut was 50 basis points. Now, the Fed's cut many times before, obviously different amounts and things like that, but he's identified the last two times that they actually cut by 50 basis points. January 2001, the S&P dropped 39% in 400 days. Okay, not great. September 2007, S&P fell 54% in 300 days. Okay, so they got 100% hit rate. What happens next? What is the next game plan here? And look, again, we're going to sit back and watch. We're going to play these levels. We're not gonna try and speculate too hard. We play what is in front of us, and we play the good zones, we play the bad zones well, okay? And that is our game plan here, and that has always been our game plan going forward. And just a little bit of bullish sauce coming through again, and now we've touched on this many times, but don't forget, in 2 weeks' time, 16 billion, 16 trillion, no, 16 billion. I think it's got too many zeros there. 16 billion getting unlocked in 2 weeks' time. This is the FTX redistribution that everybody is talking about. Don't forget about this, okay? These guys were crypto people, okay? They're going to get some fresh money, and the market is looking bullish. Rates are getting cut. If you are a crypto person and you suddenly get money back that you weren't really expecting, what are you going to do with it, okay? I don't think you're going to be buying gold, put it that way. I think you're going to be buying a couple of other things, and I'm assuming a couple of shit coins as well will be thrown in that mix. So it's something to pay attention to. And then this one, I mean, look, the man wants votes, okay, as we know. But here's a nice little clip we spotted earlier today. Ray, let me know if you can hear this. But we got Donald Trump. He's buying Bitcoin. He's paying with Bitcoin in a bar, okay?
I mean, it sucks. You can't even use it. Yeah.
Obviously a noob. Boomer vibes here. Boomer vibe. Do you think he knows what's going on?
I don't think so.
Fantastic, it went through.
Well, I hope it went through. I mean, how's that guy? Surprised. Fantastic, it went through. I mean, was he shocked? Was he expecting anything else? Okay, so we've covered BTC. Now, let's just take a look. On the short term, we are in a situation now where things are hot. So if you're looking for new entries and things like that, you are literally down to the degen plays. You are down to trying to find some breakouts and things like that. It's quite sort of dangerous time here to be trying to get into new positions, especially the high leverage guys. So what we're going to do here is we're going to just take a look at the liquidation map and just try and understand where could they send BTC in the next couple of hours? Where are the hot zones, upside, downside, according to where the liquidity is? Okay, then we're going to take a look at a lower time frame chart. So to the upside, you can see I've got a lovely band up here, anything from 62,700 all the way up to 63.5. Okay, that is a nice little hot zone to the upside. Let's tie that in with the 1 hour chart. You can see that 63.5 takes us to just under that 200-day moving average. So that is a nice little liquidity area. That's a reminder, if you are scalping today and you get a push up into that liquidity zone, you've also got the 200-day MA in your way. Okay, so upside, look out there, just under that region. And then any dips to the downside, we've got a little short-term banger here, 61,800, but I really like this juicy zone all the way down to about 60,600, give or take 60,600, and that takes us exactly onto our 382 fib pool. Now, wouldn't that make perfect sense if we get some kind of bullish pullback here on the 1 hour onto this 382, onto this trend, and then some kind of sense? So that could be a beautiful altcoin opportunity. So now we're going to dial into a couple of these altcoins here, and we're going to look at some higher time frame things. We're going to see what's going on Then we're going to dial in onto smaller time frames and try and see if we get some kind of dip on BTC, however bullish that pullback is. We're going to try and marry it to some of these altcoins where we can try and snag a couple of entries. So lots coming here. And then on the 1 hour, so let's just say we lose 60,600 on the 1 hour. I just want to highlight this big banger zone down here. I've got double anchored VWAPs for you. I've got the 50-day moving average, and I've got quite a big 382 pull. So 58,700, that is a massive zone for me. And naturally, not expecting much lower than that in the next 24 hours. You know, I'd like to see this trend hold. So 58,680, that is a hot zone there for me that I would watch very closely. Now, before we get into the charts, remember, guys,
before we get into that, definitely before we get into any of that, let's smash the likes when we have 1,000 people here.
The likes bouncers, yeah, he's here. The man has spoken, and let's take a look at this. So, you know, a lot of you guys watch the show and you don't really know what I'm talking about. You're seeing all these lines and all these things, and you're looking for answers, but you don't know. You can't decipher some of the stuff. Again, there's a sniper school starting in 5 days. Okay, jump into the link in the description. You can learn all of this stuff for free. Okay, then you'll be watching the show and you'll be putting it in practice yourself. You'll be understanding. You can mimic my charts. You can draw these things up on your own time, on your own platform. So Sniper School, there is a link. It's starting in 5 days. Grab that link in the show description, learn what I'm doing here, and then start executing some of your own trades on your own charts. So Ristina says, good morning. And hopefully a bullish morning here for us as we crack on. So let's look at dominance. This is dominance on the weekly. We touched on this yesterday, and a nice little pop on dominance. And naturally, we are happy with a dominance pump as long as BTC is going up. Okay, it's less pressure on the altcoins. We know these alts will start moving, but naturally what we want to see is the rejection on dominance in a bullish market. That is going to melt faces on some of these altcoins. And my zone of interest is still 60.4%, anything around 60%, looking for that rejection on the altcoins now that we have broken through this big weekly band. So you can see if we zoom in here, we've had a massive horizontal break on dominance, and looking for this push higher now, then looking for a nice solid rejection here on these altcoins. Wouldn't it be lovely? A strong BTC push, maybe up to 65, maybe even higher than that, then a hard rejection, and then these alts start absolutely ripping. So that is my ideal scenario. And then I wanted to highlight this others chart. Now, naturally, we are still in fake out territory. So we've had trend breaks on Sol. We've had trend breaks on AVAX. Tons of the altcoins that you guys are trading are looking super bullish, but I want to highlight this chart one more time. This is the others chart. This is the entire crypto market, excluding the top 10. Exercise caution here. You can see we have a strong weekly downtrend. How many times have we seen fake outs through trends and things like that, where they pop it higher and then they give us a mega reversal and things like that? So I want to just say, keep this chart, keep one eye on this chart, okay? Keep your eyes on this. You want to see a strong push. This thing is now testing the 100-day moving average. We are at a resistance band currently, and you can see this is now an area of interest for us. So if we do get a strong break, we want to see a hard break. We want that to hold on any big pullbacks that we get for these altcoins. Then this altcoin market absolutely rips. But until then, I want to see a weekly close out of this downtrend. I want to see this weekly candle finish at the end of this weekend above this region here, and then, you know, sentiment can shift. I mean, we're going to run out of buttons on this bullshit, and you're probably going to see that white cap coming on a couple more times than you would expect. Okay, so yesterday I showed you guys this. Let's start with ETH, okay? And I played this video, and I think we just have to play it one more time, okay?
All the rest of them, it's mathematical. No more double spend, it's predictable. Put your cash in your brain or it's hysterical. A new form of wealth begins.
Was that the bottom of the ETH market? Was that the bottom of ETH versus BTC? Was that the bottom, Ray? I'm feeling bullish on ETH. When Vitalik does that, okay? When Vitalik did that, I did this, okay? I went long, ETH, okay? That's got to be the bottom, okay? I opened up an ETH long yesterday, and you can see what my average entry is now, 2,342. You can see my stop is 2,333, okay? So we're pretty much risk-free here. And if Vitalik was singing like that, the man's got a girlfriend now, okay? He's singing songs on stage. He's clearly happy. Maybe he's in a good frame of mind now to really start focusing on ETH. Now, maybe his life's a bit settled down. I mean, if you're singing on a stage, you're pretty happy. So, that is potentially the bottom of ETH for me. I've taken along. Let's look at this ETH BTC chart. You can see this thing is at the absolute depths of these lows. If we do get a bounce here, I'm expecting a hard slingshot here on ETH BTC. Wouldn't it just make sense if we carried on playing with this trend? Okay, so anything up to that trend could still be super bullish for us on ETH. Okay, and I know I've been an ETH bro for way too long, but when a man sings like that on stage, that has to be the bottom. And that is what I'm playing now on ETH. You can see my entry, you can see my stop. Let's take a look at the ETH chart. And still a very slow mover relative to everything else. ETH has done nothing, but wouldn't be a massive surprise if suddenly the market turns bullish and everybody wakes up again to ETH and this thing's been an absolute lagger. It's been absolutely abused and then it comes alive again. So for me, ETH, you can see the situation here. Two big levels that you need, okay? 2,800, 900 or 2,100. Those are the levels you actually really need to be concerned about. Anything else other than that for the leverage traders, you can see you can use the daily lows as potential support. So somewhere around 2,256. Let's see. Okay, let's see how this is going to play out. And naturally, that could be the bottom, or ETH could be going to zero. Okay, we're going to wait and see. But I thought a man singing like that, I had to go long. There was no other choice. And Cisco Kid says he was tripping on shoes. Guys, who else is in the chats here? Let's see. Where's my people here? What's happening? I went out so late with MDX last night in Singapore. He showed me this whole town. Okay, he took me out. I went to bed probably 4:30 a.m. It was a rough day. It's been a rough day for me. And luckily these charts are ripping. Definitely increases my mood a little bit. Ice Cream Mango says that each song is super bullish. Didn't Pie says, oh, it's a classic tune. What does he say? He says it's strong, like Mother Russia. And Lindsay says, how's the head? Guys, I might have done a couple of painkillers today and a couple of bottles of water. But no, Gong Loaf says, did you manage to short Sui in between beers? I closed my Phantom long on the 200-day MA. It was an absolute banger. I'm going to talk to you guys about that 𝗬𝗢𝗓 competition as well, because one of our members there also has been killing it on Phantom. He's something like 500% up. So we're going to take a look just now. But yeah, in my state, I managed to close a Phantom pump, which was nice. And then in my state, I managed to open ETH and I managed to open a Sol long, which I'm going to talk to you guys about in a couple of minutes as well. And what is Jay saying? Slap the like. It slapped me back. Then my mom slapped me for being disrespectful. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, if you're enjoying the bull market, do your thing. Okay, do your thing. I'm doing my thing for you guys. Hangover and everything. Let's get this going. Okay, so let's talk Sol. Is it relevant or not? It's hard to say, but we've got a Sol phone launching, okay, that we know about. This is Solana phone number 2. Remember Sol phone number 1, they stuck Bonk on that for free. Bonk absolutely ripped. Are they going to drop another meme coin on this thing? Potentially. Is it going to be PopCat? Is that why PopCat is 30% up at the moment? That remains to be seen. So here is the current situation. Okay, here I am. I opened a Solana position in probably at 4 in the morning or something. And this thing is now cooking for us. So my average entry on Sol, 129.7. And Sundog, I'm still sitting in waiting for that Binance news. Once it becomes common knowledge, maybe I'm just wasting my time. But let's see. Sundog sitting in this position. And I've started a hedge play on AVAX. So I'm not turning bearish. I'm just setting up in case. I'm going to take you through that AVAX chart. In case things start rolling over, I'm expecting some kind of pullback. So I've started a head short here on AVAX just to cover a couple of things. Now, I remain bullish. Okay, I'm expecting bullish retest here. So this is literally just to ride things a little bit lower if we do get some kind of pullback. So let's take a look at Sol. Look at this banger. Look at this banger. And massive trend break on the daily. And the big one for me that I've been watching super closely, that I've been telling you guys about, look at this anchored VWAP. Here it is. Okay, so we've had our break of trend. Bullish, okay? Break of trend. Finally, leading into Sol conference tomorrow, we've got a break of trend. We've got our anchored VWAP. Big pressure here now. And you can see Sol is pushing into this anchored VWAP. If we can pop through this anchored VWAP, we're turning bullish, okay? We're firing up this Sol long. We're going to grow the size, and we want to send this one higher. So right now, looking for this pop of the anchored VWAP. If we do, I am expecting some kind of bullish retest, some kind of bullish pullback and things like that. So let it play out, okay? If you're not sitting in Sol right now, you're in a danger zone. Naturally, you're sitting at the anchored VWAP. It could still reject, okay? We're going to take a look on a lower time frame in a second. But as far as we are concerned with regards to the daily or the 12-hour, we've got a trend break, okay? So things are now looking super bullish on Solana. Can we get some follow through? I think we're going to know. By the end of the day, by the end of this US Open, we're going to know exactly what is cooking with Sol. So now, scalpers, those guys, you know who you are, the 20X, the 30X, 50X, DGens. I know you guys. There's one. Okay, there he is. And this is for you. Okay, so we've got Sol breaking trends. Now, we've dialed into the 1 hour time frame. And we are looking for some scalper zones. Now, how do we go about it? Okay, number one, you got to find your hot zones on the lower time frames, and you got to really look for some bullish pullback areas. So what I've done here is I've taken a fib from the absolute lows on Wednesday, pulled it to the highs, and I'm looking to identify bullish pullback zones. Where can I add to my position? Or if I'm not in Sol, where can I look for potential scalps and things like that? So right now for me, there's no entry in this type of cluster. Okay, I'm not liking this at the moment. And I like to see a little bit more structure. So for me personally, I like to see some kind of structure and then a nice solid breakout. Okay, so now I'm watching the 1 hour. We're going to have to see how this plays out, because at some point we're going to get consolidation. At some point we're going to get some kind of structure. Now, what does that look like? It could easily be a little push lower down into 134.8. Watch that region closely. 134.8. I've got 382 fib tie-in. I've got horizontal tie-in here for you. So that is an interesting area. 134.8. Then lower down. Look at this banger. I've got the anchored VWAP from the 7th of September. Remember the dump that we had? This has been pretty reliable. Look at this thing. It's acted as support here in the past very nicely. Resistance, resistance, resistance. I'm looking for that to hold a support for me. 131.8. These are the types of zones you're going to look for your next scalper long on Solana. Well, for me, that is where I'm going to be looking, in those types of areas there, unless we get some kind of flag. And if we do, we're going to be super patient here, and then we can trade that 15-minute breakout on the flag. Okay, so you're going to look for this type of structure. If we don't get a big pullback, you're going to start trying to look for that trend break over there. What does that look like? The minute we pop that anchored VWAP, that could be an opportunity to enter along, and you're going to bang your stop under wherever the lows are on that flag. And then you're going to look to ride this thing a little bit higher up to some higher zones. Okay, 145 comes to mind. Okay, it's a 618. It's the 100-day moving average. So a nice little area there for me. But right now, super cautious on Sol until we consolidate and get a nice little trend break, or until we get some pullback into a bullish zone. So DGens, these are your levels. Guys, spot traders, margin traders, and things like that, this is your level. 132, look at that guy, a little bit lower, 127. Okay, so remember, there's something here for everybody. 127 is your spot support. That was from the absolute dumps. That is now massive support. So spot bag holders, you guys are good. Okay, we close under 127. Then we start, rethinking things a little bit. Okay, so Sol, you guys are covered. Now, let's talk PopCat. Okay, how's this little banger? And, time and time again, we talk about PopCat and these meme coins as a recovery play. Look at PopCat on the right-hand side, 35%. Okay, and you guys want to trade XRP and ADA and things like that. Look at this PopCat, absolute banger. These meme coins always deliver when things do turn a little bit more bullish there for us. And here we are. So those of you sitting in PopCat at the moment, you are now pushing. This is PopCat on the 8 hour. You are pushing into massive horizontals. Okay, be careful. That should be all-time high coming for PopCat at around about 1. Look out in the zone. Okay, I am expecting some kind of action here in that type of region. Naturally, the next play for PopCat is either going to be a pullback onto some bullish areas, which I can show you in a minute, or alternatively, you're looking for a trend break here at this type of resistance band. So if you're interested in PopCat, you need to get this chart active on your trading view now. You get it in front of you. You start tracking it on 1 hour, on 15 minutes. You start looking for these type of trend breaks. Remember the rule: if you are sitting at major resistance and you aren't shorting and you feeling bullish, the only way to get into the next zone is to look for these trend breaks and then play it through those areas. So waiting now for consolidation on PopCat. There's no trade here right now. There's no short. There's no long right now. It's either got to go higher to look for a short, or some kind of trend break, or this thing is pulling lower and then we are looking for some bullish zones. So the best way you can find a bullish zone here on PopCat is to take a couple of fibs. And what I would suggest here, number one, take your fib from the lows on the 6th of September, the dump. You're going to pull your fib to the high whenever that rejection happens. Okay, you're going to pull your fib from the high to wherever the price rejects. So right now we need to wait and see where that rejection is going to be. But at the moment, if it does reject at all-time highs, which you can see is looking very likely at the moment, then you're most likely going to get a super bullish pullback zone. Look at that. Banger little area at 0.78 on PopCat. So right now, be patient, bide your time. If you do get a meltdown in the market at the moment, 78 looks like the zone for me for the next scalper play here on PopCat. So guys, just play safe, okay? No FOMO allowed into these green candles, okay? This is not the time to be aping in everything you've got. Remember the rules here with trading, okay? You've got spot bags, okay? They keep you from FOMO. If you've got your spot bags and the market is ripping and you've missed a leverage trade, at least you know your spot bags are doing something for you. You have less FOMO. You've got margin trades on like 3x, stuff like that. That does some work for you. Then these leverage trades, nice little top-ups for you. And they're not meant to get you stressed out and put you in dangerous situations. So make sure you are playing safe. And FOMO is the biggest disease, okay? Stay away from FOMO. We wait for our good entries. Okay, the next one, let's go AVAX. I wanted to give you a representation here of ETH BTC, AVAX BTC. I want to show you Phantom BTC. And this is potentially now the bottom for things like AVAX BTC. Is this potentially the bottom now on some of these, on all of these altcoins? Look at this chart. This is AVAX versus BTC. Look at this. Is this a nice little bottom here for us? Are we going to get some kind of bullish break now when these alts really start waking up for us? So we're going to look for that type of play here. But for me right now, 50-day MA has been broken for AVAX Bitcoin on the weekly, looking bullish. Looks like we have a bottom in play currently, okay? Let's take a look at the AVAX chart. Now, doesn't this look similar to Solana? We've broken a trend break here on the daily, looking pretty decent here, looking relatively bullish. So on the daily time frame, there are a couple of areas you want to be watching. Upside, you can see things are super bullish. If you are sitting in a position, 27.99, look out for that rejection there. At some point, we're going to get that rejection. Then, if we do blow through that region, your next mega rejection zone, and for me, that is going to be quite a high conviction short area at around about 33.3. That type of region is a potential short zone there if we do get some kind of mega pump. So looking out for something like that. Naturally, when that time comes, we will deal with it, and I will set up the charts for you. But, it's something like that, and it's going to be some kind of bullish retest somewhere along those lines. So AVAX 33 to 33.3, danger zone, okay, leverage traders. 27.9, danger zone, leverage traders, okay, be careful. And I've started that AVAX short, and for some reason, I had it preloaded, okay? It was a preloaded short that started. But this is the area, number one. So I've started a small position here. I've got a second one here in case we get one more push today, and then we get a little roll over there in the market. So watching this one very closely here. Let's see how this AVAX is going to play out. Let's dial in for the bulls. And look at this. I mean, this is such a clean little setup here for AVAX. So what you can do is big picture, you know the story. Now I'm dialing in. I'm saying, where am I looking for my leverage setups? If I want to be an absolute degen, where can I look for these type of situations? So what I suggest, take a fib from the 18th of September. That was the dump lows from yesterday. You're going to pull your fibs from the lows to the highs. And these are going to become your scalper regions. These are your zones. If you do get weakness in the market, you're going to be looking for either that consolidation we spoke about on Phantom, then some kind of trend break, or alternatively, if they do send us lower, 24.95. That is what you're watching, 24.1. These are hot zones. Don't think they can't happen. Don't think they can't come back. And look out for this type of candle here. Look at that guy, okay? Easy to come and just take out some of that liquidity there at some point. So again, the market's bullish, right? Let's not get caught up in ourselves. Let's stay rational. Let's look for hot zones here. Remember, there's always some kind of breather. Then we get our next move. So you can play that by looking for bullish pullbacks, 382 fibs, 618 fibs. Alternatively, you're looking for these flags, you're looking for these breakouts, and then they take you to the next zone. And you can see on the 1 hour chart for AVAX, 27.8, this region, okay? Big zone for me there on the 1 hour. Look out. If we pump into that zone, that is also a potential rejection area for you now. So right now, for me, there's no trade on AVAX right now, unless you're an absolute degen like this man here, trading 3 minutes and things like that. Then there might be a couple of scalps. But take my suggestion. Look for those breaks on 15 minutes, things like that. Play the hot zones. You can see upside, we've got danger there, 27.7, that type of region. Downside, 24.95. You can see those are the trade zones for me. Those are the big ones that I'm going to be watching. And what's this? Says never going to 46. Guys, all I know is that we can never say never in crypto. Okay, we're not allowed to say that. It's actually banned. That's a banned phrase here, because the amount of times I've said never in crypto and got absolutely rinsed because I said that. I can actually, I can count a few times. Okay, so let's never say never. Okay, what else is happening here? Where are the other people? I see Vito says Ray with bullish glasses, no worry. Ray is chilled. And Donkey Degen says KRC20 is hot. And I see Cass didn't bounce as nicely as we hoped, unfortunately. But more about that. We'll deal with Cass on another day. Okay, squad details for the 𝗬𝗢𝗡 competitions. Guys, you have actually completely outshone yourself. You've outdone yourself. I'm so happy with the performance here of my team, the Disciples of Entry in the 𝗬𝗢𝗡 competition. Thank you for everybody who is participating. There's still 7 days left. You can still join the comp. And I just want to remind you guys, here's our squad at the moment. And oh, look at this banger. So this is FJ the second, okay? He's in Sniper Club with us. And there's Bogdan, number 2, killing it. DJ and Dave is number 3. That's our Bybit winner. I knew I could rely on him there. 185%. He's up. You guys are absolutely killing it. Look at me. I'm coming 15th there. I've only taken 5 little trades so far. We're going to ramp this thing up towards the end of the competition, and we're going to start firing this thing up. But right now, our team is coming 3rd. Looking great. Well done. Okay. So at the moment, FJ the second, he's in line to win the $1,000 prize for the highest P&L. Bogdan is coming second, $600 prize. And DJ and Dave is coming 3rd at the moment, $400 prize for anyone in my team. Okay. It's exclusive to my team.
We're squeezing.
Are we squeezing higher? That's nice. Well, hopefully we can squeeze the 𝗬𝗢𝗡 competition a little bit higher. So, guys, we're coming 3rd. I think we can actually win this thing. And well done to all the traders in here. If you want to join us in the competition, you can jump into the show description and just grab that 𝗬𝗢𝗡 link. Join me. It's the Disciples of Entry. Let's crack on. Okay, we're coming 3rd. Let's go for the victory here. So jump in the list, jump in the show description. 3rd from the top there, you can see 𝗬𝗢𝗡. And my entire shopping list is here for you guys. Everything is sitting here under this thing, including that sniper school that I told you about. But well done to everybody who's cooking here. And just, guys, remember, just make sure if you're 670% up, maybe just, bank a couple of profits here and things like that. Just play safe. Okay. And, have a nice solid strategy on the way. But looking good so far. Nice to see 3 Sniper Club members cooking on that 𝗬𝗢𝗡 comp. Okay, the next banger here is Phantom versus BTC. Look at this. Okay, looking very similar to AVAX. Isn't it time to see Phantom back at $1? Okay, do we have a bottom here in play for Phantom BTC? Finally, things are looking good. Now, if we compare this to ETH BTC, I mean, look how horrific this thing looks at the moment, but we could still see some kind of bounce there at some point. So still holding thumbs for ETH to come back to us. And Phantom, well, I mean, this thing is absolutely beautiful. And I caught this, you guys saw that Phantom trade I was in yesterday at this 200-day MA. That was always going to be my TP zone. So hopefully some of you guys did grab some TPs there in that area. And remember, at all times, when you get pumps like that, remain disciplined. Okay, take your profits in your good areas here. Bank those things. You can always come back later. There's always another trade. So I'm out of Phantom. As you guys can see, I took a profit here at the 200-day moving average. Now, what do we do with Phantom? Where are our danger zones? This is Phantom on the daily, and looking at a current 618 rejection band. So watch out here, 6961. This is a natural danger zone. Okay, and what does this look like now on the daily? We could easily get some kind of consolidation here in this region, even a dip down, things like that. So anything can happen now. Okay, so what I can suggest, if you're cooking on Phantom leverage trades, just be safe in this area. Maybe tighten up stops under good zones, things like that, or take some profits there along the way. This is a nice hot candle. Can it continue? Yes, sure. This thing can continue, but look at the last time we had a serious pump like that. Look at that pump. We dumped, okay? We've had it a couple of times. Look at that. Guard candle there, and they came back and killed us. So just remember, we're not out of the woods. We're playing it safe. If you're leverage trading, you're looking to bank profits along the way. Let your spot stuff do the work for you. Let that thing grind up all the way. And then Phantom on the 1 hour. Let's take a look, okay? Some degen plays here for us, and you can immediately see where the hot zones are, okay? I don't have to push too hard. You can see this. Our anchored VWAP from the 6th of September. Look at this guy. Look at this absolute banger here, sitting at the 382. So we know hot zone number 1 for Phantom, 5215, okay? If it goes back there, it's going to hurt, okay? We understand that, but that is a hot zone. That is a high conviction hot zone for me on Phantom, 5215. Then what else can we do? We can take our fib. So we can pull our fib from the low on the 6th or 7th of September there, those lows. You want to drag that up. You want to look for some bullish pullback zones, okay? And the safest one that I can give you right now for Phantom is 0.557, okay? That is our 382. You can see it's tying in with horizontals. It's tying in with a little cluster there. So if we do get some kind of bleed out here in the market, that for me is going to be a high conviction zone that I'm looking at on Phantom, 0.557. Okay, watch that area, and it's a hell of a way down. Okay, but remember, this can happen relatively quickly with altcoins. You know, the slightest bearish news later today, or a little pullback on the S&P, and next thing we're sweating bullets. Okay, next thing these alts have reversed 7, 8, 9%, things like that, and we're panicking again. Okay, and this is now the non-panic chart. This is why we set these up, to make sure that we understand all these hot zones that these things can potentially go to. Okay, so Phantom, you get the deal, looking for consolidation, and we don't want to go much deeper than that. Okay, so right now you can see we do have liquidity here to the left hand side, and we do have that high that is pretty much tied in on our daily at 6961. So watch that. Okay, if we do break that, you can see that liquidity candle there. We can potentially push higher. All I can say is, guys, there's no Phantom trade here for me just yet. Okay, I need this thing to consolidate or chill a little bit before we can start jumping into that. Okay, so give it a little bit of time, let it do its thing. Then another banger here for you guys, and this has been fun. I've traded Rune 3 or 4 times on that ZoomX comp. I've been keeping it very disciplined and very simple here, and Rune is now on my hit list again, looking for potential entries. So anybody interested in Rune, we know this thing is super bullish. We know Uncle loves Rune. Okay, he loves this thing, and we've actually met the Rune guys, and I mean, they've got some incredible things happening on Rune. So for me, you know, it's a spot bag play 100%. But number 2, it's a great trading token. You can see the volatility here of great areas that Rune offers. Look at this stuff. There's great trades on offer here for Rune time and time again. So a nice little trading play, just like some of these meme coins. Actually, it moves relatively well. So what can you do? Take your fibs from the dump yesterday, from the lows, drag them to the highs, look for some consolidation areas. Look at this. We've got horizontals here tied in very nicely with our 382 and this trend region at 4.22. So that is a hot zone there for me if we do get some kind of push lower. Okay, so again, just look out for some consolidation. We do have some upside issues here on Rune for you. You can see we got big resistance there. Okay, normally doesn't break through without some kind of fight. Okay, so if we do push out for that region, look out even for a little fake out into that zone and then some kind of pullback. Okay, so just playing it safe. Okay, waiting here for a Rune leverage entry. It's not here. Okay, I need to wait for this thing. It's got to consolidate or it's got to drop back a little bit here for us. And naturally, you could see these type of trend breaks start playing out again on the lower time frames. And, you know, that's for the DGens. Okay, that's really for the DGens. But you're going to be dialing in, let it consolidate under this resistance band, then you're going to look for that pop, okay? And that takes you then through to your next area. But where are my hot zones for Rune? Right now, it's got to be 4.3 and 4.228. These are my hot zones there. Those are potential trade zones for me for longs on Rune, okay? Keeping it safe. Petro says Link needs to keep going. I'd love to see Link start flying. And Adam says Bullhorn. I got you covered. Guys, it's so nice that this market is turning bullish, and, you know, long may it continue. And, you know, those of you that have stuck around through the pain and suffering, you know, if this market starts ripping for a couple of weeks here, sure, hey, we've earned it. We really have earned it, grinding this stuff out here every day. So well done to all of you that have managed to survive the pain. Okay, here's my current WEX situation. I got stopped out of my injective short eventually. Okay, I held that short for days, and they stopped me out of that short. Now it remains to be seen what the next play is. I'm going to show you an in-depth chart now on injective, and this thing is now, the long is now cooking. You can see BMEX. I took that trade with DJ and Dave not too long ago, and this thing is ripping. And then Dupe is finally coming to the party. Now Dupe, remember, is our soul strength play. So Solana ecosystem players, things like Drift, things like Dupe, things like Radium, those types of things. And I've been hanging on to this Dupe for ages. It feels like absolute weeks that I've been sitting in this Dupe trade, and finally it's kicking on. You can see the size there is now $33,000. So hoping to get this one kicking on a little bit. You know, it's been very long and patient wait on Dupe. So let's start with Dupe and just see what is actually going on. So, you know, we were bullish on Dupe for a while leading into the Sol conference. Nice Sol ecosystem play. So, you know, our lows, we locked those lows in. These were 0.66. That was a big area. What is interesting to me now is that Dupe has cracked the 50-day moving average. That's massive, okay? That's super bullish that we are breaking through that 50-day MA, and we've broken through our resistance. We've broken through our 618 fib as well, okay? So things are turning a little bit more bullish here on Dupe. What do I want to see? Now, we are printing a new high, but we do want to close naturally above the 50-day MA. So let's see how this plays out. But right now, worst case, I want to see some kind of retest onto the 77 region. Don't really want to lose that. So Dupe, all systems go here, watching the 77. Don't really want to lose that at the moment, but our upside target for Dupe, where am I taking profits? 0.9. Okay, that looks like a hot zone there for me. So if we can hang on to this Dupe a little bit longer and they don't come and rinse us out, 0.9 is going to be my upside target. So we've got a bit of work to do. 100-day moving average is in the way. Okay, so a little bit of a fight in that region. But, to see an altcoin breaking the 50-day MA, wow. Okay, that is great stuff here. Now we just want to see this thing follow through for us and hold that region. Okay, and here is Injective on the 4-hour. Okay, so we've dialed in a little bit for Injective, and you can see Injective actually got a long way to go. Okay, but how does it get there? So Injective, I've got upside targets here now. We're looking at about 23. Okay, so 20 was always our first sort of area of interest for the rejection. You can see this was our 20 band, and that's where we were catching those shorts. Now we've had a mega bump here on Injective. Now, where's my next big area? My next big area is going to be this 23 region. We're going to take out some of these candles up here. That is going to be my next Injective target. But how do we get there? Okay, so right now you can see Injective is at resistance. You can see we've got horizontals here. We've got the 100-day MA. So extreme caution here with Injective. If you're not in Injective already, there's no setup here just yet. You need to just be patient here and wait a little bit. You've got to wait this one out because this thing can easily start turning over on this US Open. And then we're going to start looking for some bullish retest here. Okay, so right now you can pull your fib from the low on Tuesday, the dump on Tuesday. And we had a beautiful move off this region. Look at this. We had our double anchored VWAP, August and September, offering support for Injective, tied in with the 50-day MA. I mean, absolute banger, this area here. Now, if we get a pullback, what are we looking for? Look at this horizontal. 20 is now going to be our retest. So 20 was our resistance. We're looking for this retest here for us and a push higher. Anywhere in and around the 20 region, maybe just a sniff under at about 19.7, somewhere there for me, looks like a hot zone. If they do put a little bit more pressure, I'm looking for a big bounce on Injective, 18.9. So that is the next region. Right now, you can see no trade. Okay, no trade right now. We're in no man's land. These are your hot zones. These are your potential scalper zones where you're going to be looking for these longs. Let's highlight that. Bang. Okay. You're looking for something along those lines. Okay. Naturally, if you are taking risks here and you are buying tokens here in these types of areas, and the market moves up, that's great. Okay. Just remember, if you're buying tokens here and the market falls over and we start pulling back, you put yourself at risk. Okay. So your first hot zone on Injective is 5% lower. Okay. So imagine now you buy a high leverage position and the market starts falling over and you find yourself in a spot. Okay. You're bleeding red. Your next bounce zone is 5% lower. So if you're using 20x leverage, that's 100% downside for you. Then your next high conviction bounce zone is 9% lower. Okay, that on 20x leverage is 180% downside. So this is why I'm emphasizing here. If you're trading leverage, this isn't a no trade zone. If you're buying spot and you've got a long-term view, I think we all agree, long-term, the stuff is moving up. But if you're trading leverage, you've got to be picky. You've got to be greedy with your entries and how you go about things. So play it safe here. 19.7, 19.6, that sort of region, 18.9. These are the high conviction zones. If the market runs away, no rush. Okay, there is no rush. The market comes back tomorrow. If the market runs away, I'm looking for something along these lines, a push into that zone. Then we're going to get our consolidation. Then we're going to get some kind of break, or alternatively, they're going to come back a little bit lower. So very simple game plan here for Injective. Just play it safe. It's relative or relevant to all of these altcoins. I've got a couple more here for you guys. Let's look at Beam. And you can see that Beam position I'm in finally turning bullish here. We've got our daily trend break. So that is looking good. This is Beam on the daily. So what do we want to see happen now for Beam? Well, naturally, we want the gaming narrative to wake up. We know as well that if AVAX turns bullish, you can grab some Beam. There's something else you can also grab, okay, which we'll deal with next week on a bullish AVAX. You guys know exactly what it is in the chats that you can grab on a bullish AVAX. One of the other things is grabbing Beam. Okay, so here it is. And Beam right now pushing into daily resistance. Okay, look at that. So we're in a danger zone here. We are by no means out of the woods. And what do we want to see? We want to see a strong push here. Then we want to see this type of support hold. Now we want to do an SR flip here, and we want to hold 0.65. If we can hold 0.65 on beam here, then on the daily chart, we are tracking higher. 0.02, I think we get a nice little move there. Any pullbacks, let's just look at the size of this. So looking for about another 24%. Okay, I would love to see another 24% here on this beam setup that we've got. We've done all the work. We've sat in this thing. I would love to see it. And what is my average entry? 0.146. So let's just take a look where that is. 0.146. So my average entry is a little bit lower down here. Let's just highlight that there. There. Okay, so we don't want to see much lower than that. That is going to burn. So let's dial in now to beam and try and understand where we are. Okay, so here is beam on the 1 hour. We've got an idea, a bigger picture. We are pushing into resistance. Okay, we understand that. We do have a massive zone here to watch out. What is the most likely situation here? If we do get some kind of pullback and flag, what is a nice area for you? 0.0157. Okay, then a little bit lower down. This is right on my entry. And this is why I'm going to make sure my stop is below this region here. This is a hot 618 here for beam. That is a hot bounce zone there. So I don't want a situation where I get stopped out just above a 618 and they absolutely send this thing. So what I would suggest here, beam traders, looking for some weakness here, 0.0157, nice little area. And then if they do send it lower, 0.0148. Now you can see why this makes sense. We've got our rising trend. Remember, at some point, all these tokens, at some point, again, it might not be today, it might be in a couple of weeks, but at some point, they come back to visit these trends. They always do. Okay. And then at some point, they're going to start losing those trends and then they're turning bearish again. So just play it safe. No FOMO allowed. And the same situation here. Let me give you a more dialed in example. I'm going to dial into beam quickly on the 15 minutes. I want you guys to see what we can look for here. We can look for these types of consolidation. So here's a nice example. This was earlier today. Okay, nice little consolidation here on beam. Look what they were doing, okay? Dropping into these levels here. As you pop that zone, look what happens here. Now, this is relevant on all time frames. Look what they've done here. They pop that horizontal high, then immediately they come back, they SR flip you, and they retest that area. Okay, so that is a nice little breakout play. So that is typically what you want to look for in these types of regions. When you're sitting at resistance, these are the plays you're looking to hunt that next area. Okay, so you can see what's going on now. We do have a candle that they're trying to fill, so just be careful here. There's a chance here they don't come and fill this whole candle and then they dip this thing a little bit lower. So look for consolidation. Okay, look for trend breaks on these types of time frames. Look for this type of stuff here. Look for those pops and things like that. Now, remember, when you're playing this game, your risk is higher. Okay, things get a little bit more tricky for you guys. And, I prefer waiting for them to drop in these baskets. But naturally, these breakout trades, they can be exciting, but they can obviously be a lot more risky. But a nice little example here on beam as to what you can do. So just bang out a couple of horizontals, bang out your trends, and you can look for those type of breakouts. Then another huge one here for us is the AI narrative waking up. Is it time to really fire up Render, Tower, all these AI tokens again? Are we actually going to get this run that we are looking for? And Tower is sure. I know 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 was talking about Tower yesterday. He mentioned it while he was singing. Well, I don't know if it was while he was singing, but this thing is looking decent. Okay, so Tower is now pushing into your first danger zone. Where have we seen this? We saw this on Phantom. We've seen this on tons of other altcoins. The 200-day moving average is now coming in to resistance for us. This is now a Tower danger zone. But all is not lost here on Tower. It's looking good on the 12 hours. So if we do get some kind of rejection, all we're looking for here as traders is some kind of support buy in a hot zone. Okay. And right now you can see that SR flip that I showed you on beam, for example. You've got a break of horizontals. So if we do get some kind of pullback, let's see where this thing rejects. But I'd love to see some kind of horizontal buy here at about 350 on Tower. That looks like a nice little zone there for me. And then naturally now, as we watch it, 320 also looking like an interesting zone. So Tower, let it be. There's no new trade here for me on Tower, waiting for things to happen. And the reason I'm waiting on these types of things, I don't want to expose myself to risk. Okay, so you can see the downside that I've just given you on Tower is something like $30 down or $40 down. That's a lot of risk for a leverage trader. So really, spot bags, you let them cruise. They do their thing. But leverage traders, you really want to be greedy with your entries. And that, for me, we wait. At some point, we get these types of opportunities. And 𝗬𝗟, for me, right now, looks like the 355, somewhere in that region. That's a hot zone. Then a little bit lower down, look at that, 325, that type of area also looking interesting to me. So a little bit patient. And then upside, we've got some beautiful targets here for 𝗬𝗟. Okay, so if you're sitting in 𝗬𝗟 and you're happy that this thing is going to hold some of its pullback and things like that, what you can do is start looking at upside targets, okay, that you can play with. And right now, you've got 439, target number one, and then a little bit higher up for you, you've got 490. Okay, so these are the most obvious zones for me on 𝗬𝗟, 490 and 439. So watch those guys very closely, and then let's look at Ondo. Okay, I mean, what an absolute delivery from Ondo. This is an RWA play, guys. Remember, BlackRock, real world asset narrative. If you want a narrative play, you go gaming. Okay, we know. You go AI, we know. You go layer ones, we know. What's that? AVAX, Phantom, Sol, those type of things. And then you go RWA. Now, there's a couple of RWA plays like Rio and things like Aurelio and things like that, but I'm loving Ondo. It's always a nice value play for me. I love this thing. And it listens to fibs really nicely. Now, if you were watching my show last week, I gave you guys that 618 region. That 618 was a hot zone there for us. We know Ondo loves fibs. We know Ondo loves the 618. Maybe the market makers or whatever just love that and they play that game accordingly. But nice little push on Ondo. Is there a trade right now other than a short? No. Okay, I would be very patient here on Ondo. I would look honestly for some kind of pullback here before we get our next push. Alternatively, this thing really needs to find some kind of consolidation in this region. You can see this is a big horizontal danger zone here for us, big danger zone. Look for some kind of bullish consolidation here if this thing is going to send higher. So you're going to have to just be patient. Okay, again, be patient. We've had a great move here in the market. And then one more thing for you guys. Now, if this market turns bullish, there's a couple of things you can do. Okay, you've got your spot bags and things like that. If you're new to leverage trading, what you can try is this Bitfunded. So I've dusted off this Bitfunded again, and I've got this thing ready for you guys. What is Bitfunded? You basically trade with other people's money. So simple game plan, you send them $49 or $99, then they give you a demo account. You make 8% stage one, you make 5% stage two, then they give you real money account, $5,000 or $10,000. That's real money account. You keep 80 to 90% of the profits. And just a reminder, here's Bitfunded. And I'm in stage two. I'm waiting for a trade here. Okay, we've dusted this thing off. The market's turned bullish. One of these setups here, I'm going to take on Bitfunded, waiting patiently here. So I'm in stage two. I need to make 5% on Bitfunded. There is a link here for you guys in the description. Just go underneath here. You can see it's sitting there for you. And we're going to update this link. We're going to have a single link ready for you guys. But basically what you do is you click on bitfunded.com, you register there, then you go to the Bitfunded Dylan Challenge, and then get involved. So they are making some changes to Bitfunded. They are improving the platform, and there's been a lot of feedback from the community, and it looks like they are working on a lot of these things for us, including the ability to raise your stops to under your stops in profit and stuff like that. So there's a lot happening there with these guys. And let's see how that goes. Okay, so guys, you got the full wrap. Basic sentiment here. It's so nice to be bullish again. I'm very happy about this. I don't want to FOMO and things. I'm in a couple of positions. Now we're waiting. Okay, we got to see how this is going to play out. Naturally, the market could go more. Okay, the market could be pumping some more. You just need to brace yourself. If you're not in position, you need to just now be patient. Know what to look for. Look for those hot zones that I've shown you. Look for the breakouts, those type of things. And then any nice pullbacks. Now, you know what a nice pullback is. It's when you're feeling uncomfortable. Okay, that's when you bang out your 382s and those type of things on the charts that I've given you. And that's most likely where you're going to get high percentage bounce plays and things like that. Okay, so I'm not around tomorrow. Okay, I'll drop a tutorial video on something tomorrow for you guys. We got the banter event here in Singapore. Token 2049 is now done, and there's a big banter event. So we're all going to that tomorrow. Good luck through the weekend, guys, and just trade safe out there. Don't get hurt, and long may the bullishness last. Okay, see you guys later.